Welcome to Neighbor, a podcast focused on highlighting extraordinary individuals and organizations making an impact in our community. Neighbor is produced by WeQ, a not-for-profit cooperative credit union based in Bellingham, Washington.
Well, Sean, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure.
So I just like to start off really simple. Who is Growing Veterans?
We're a nonprofit organization that was established in 2012 by a Marine Corps veteran and Purple Heart recipient named Chris Brown. We met going through college when I got out of the military, and he told me he was starting this program and said, you need to come out and get involved and all those things. And I was busy with school, but eventually I got out there and got my hands in the dirt and realized what I had been missing out on that whole time, and the rest is history for me.
Awesome. And so what sort of things do you guys provide?
Well, our mission is to empower military veterans to grow food, communities, and each other. And in doing that, I kind of like to look at what we do in different as like three pillars. You know, the food is a byproduct of us doing everything else right. Getting the community to come out and engage in what we do, and bringing veterans out to find purpose and repurpose themselves after having served, and also getting camaraderie. We're all assist suicide prevention trained, and we're also have a accredited peer support training that we offer as well, which is I believe it's 20.5 hours of continuing education credits for mental health professionals. It's also very beneficial for people that are learning how to interact with people that may have been through trauma, or being a shoulder to lean on, and ultimately being a good listener and being there and present with somebody. But yeah, the food is a huge part of what we do. We're an organic certified farm. We also donate probably half, if not more, than the entire season's growing period to the Whatcom Food Bank. So somewhere around the 4,000 pound range as well. We're also connected with the local colleges in the area, Whatcom, BTC, and WCC, because they have veteran centers in each one, and those offices have veterans, and that's what we're trying to tap into. So
awesome. And so I understand that you're a veteran yourself.
Yeah.
Can you share just a little bit about your experience in the military, and then a lot of what you guys do is like when veterans come home? So kind of share what's your experience?
My experience was I was in high school when 9/11 happened, and I remember watching it take place on the television set. Our teacher wheeled the big boxy TV in and said, "We're under attack." And I remember watching the invasion of Baghdad from a hot tub and being just in awe of it, and seeing it happen live right in front of me. And then I remember, in 2005, standing in front of the recruitment office in Bellingham, Washington, and getting ready to enlist in the United States Air Force. And then next thing I know, I'm going through training and basic training, and then I get to my first base in Fairchild, and then I get orders to go to Iraq, in Kirkuk, northern Iraq. I did that, and then 2007 I was in Baghdad. Both of those times it was in support of the Army. And then in 2008 I went to Kuwait, and 2009 I got out, went to school, and got my degree up here in Bellingham from Western Washington University. And shortly after that I got involved with Growing Veterans, and started off as just a kind of a grunt in the field, learning the basics about seeding and irrigation and propagation and just the basics, and flash forward a couple years, and I'm still doing it. I actually left to go do something else for a little while, for about 2 years, and then I got rehired on as a communications and outreach manager. I'm still heavily involved in day-to-day operations on the farm, as far as the production and helping the farm manager, Joel Swenson, who's also one of my best friends. And here I am.
So as I understand it, Growing Veterans, it provides opportunities career-wise or support-wise, but it seems like a lot of it is about readjusting to civilian life and kind of having that place of support. So can you talk just a little bit more about, for a veteran, when they're coming back into, civilian life, like what are some of the challenges that veterans face?
Some of the challenges that veterans face, and I can speak, from personal experiences, just feeling like you belong and finding people that you can relate to, and it takes time. It really does. Some things that nobody can help you with. There's some things that you just have to, kind of walk that path and discover. One thing, luckily, that Growing Veterans exists to do is help you along that path and provide camaraderie and provide peer support and provide a place for you to feel normal and to normalize behaviors and slowly integrate the community into that process and help normalize that behavior and ask questions and talk about trauma and be very real and provide that space and that time for that healing to occur, and also incorporate people that aren't veterans. There's a lot of people that come out to the farm that are, mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters and or they know somebody that served, or they, everybody's touched by that service in some way, shape, or form, regardless of whether or not you're a veteran. And that's what we exist for. We exist for all of those people. So it's really important to have that holistic approach and involve everybody.
I have relatives that are veterans, and they were deployed, and they had experiences overseas and things like that. I've heard it said that if you haven't served overseas and you haven't been in the military, that maybe it's hard for you to relate to some of the experiences that a veteran has. Would you say that that's true, and is that kind of part of the services that you guys provide?
Well, I would say it contextually, yes. I mean, you can't really, take somebody that's never been in a war zone and never maybe have seen a close friend, die or a lot of the horrific things that are associated with war. Pick any. And then you take somebody that may not have ever been in any of that experience, but let's say they've been in a car accident or they've had a close family friend die. The one thing that I've really tried to focus on in my time at Growing Veterans is understanding that trauma is relative, and that even though we may not share the same exact experience, that our trauma is a point of connection in a place where we can unify and come to an understanding of each other. There's some apprehension sometimes, you don't understand or you could never understand, that does exist, and that's part of the healing process, and that's part of learning how to relate to others and get back in your community. Yeah.
So obviously you have a farm, and that's working on the farm and growing things is a big part of what you guys do. Is there something therapeutic about farm work? I mean, it's not just a job or something to produce, but is there something about working on a farm that just feels restorative?
I mean, there's pathogens in the soil, that react with your body, and a lot of them are very beneficial to you. They release serotonin and different things as well. I'm not a scientist. These are all things that I'm roughly paraphrasing, but there's no denying the positive effects of physical labor, and also seeing the end product of all of your hard work. Growing Veterans, we're planting seeds. We're growing things. We're bringing things to life. In our military training and different things, ultimately our goal is to go and destroy the enemy, or not always by any means, but that's a big part of what we do. There's no hiding that fact. And our job at Growing Veterans is to help restore that in you, and let you see that you can bring life into this world, and that there is something that we can all connect, and that's out in the dirt.
So it's a metaphor. There's also the changing of seasons that you
being tired and sleeping well after a hard day's work, taking something and seeing it all the way through to its final product, and then being able to feed yourself with it, and then being able to feed your community with it, and then seeing that come full circle and the pride that you have in that, and working towards a common goal. A lot of veterans are very used to having one mission, and we all work towards that same goal regardless of what our different jobs are in the military and what we do. Our mission is all generally headed towards the same direction, and when you get out of the military, that kind of gets pulled out from underneath you. And Growing Veterans provides an opportunity for you to be able to have that focus and that centralized mission. And
Thinking back to kind of when you first started getting involved with this project, do you remember the moment when you said, oh my gosh, this organization is changing lives and it's making lives better? And what did that moment look like for you?
Well, I mean, it reveals itself to me constantly on a daily basis. But like the big wow moment for me, as far as like when I realized that I will always be involved with organic agriculture, sustainable agriculture, and veterans affairs of some sort, is it happened even before I was out at the farm. But for the farm's sake, just meeting Vietnam veterans and hearing their stories, or meeting a Korean War veteran or a World War II veteran, and seeing the amount of work that they're still doing even at their age, and how willing they are to help everyone else, it just kind of instilled in me and reaffirmed the reality that we have to make things better for the next generation, and that we need to teach and lead by example and be good leaders. And that's just with some of the mentors that I've had. Mike Hackett's one of them. He's a local Vietnam veteran. He's a Navy veteran, and he's also been a terrific mentor for us in teaching us about organic certification, and he was an organic certifier for many years as well. So we have lots of really good people in the community that come and impart knowledge on us and share the things that they've learned, and the hacks, so we don't have to figure it out the hard way.
That's really cool. So you don't just have people who are recently deployed or recently in the military, but it sounds like you have veterans from many generations.
Oh yeah, we take all kinds, and we're open. Our door is open to everyone. Active duty, even we work with active duty sailors and local Coast Guard. And we get phone calls all the time from people that are still in the military getting ready to get out. And then they contact us and say, hey, I'm getting ready to get out. I'm learning about your program. What can you offer me? Because I'm freaking out right now. I'm scared to get out, because it's scary. You're pretty well taken care of when you're in the military. You don't have to worry about where your next meal's coming from or your paycheck, So it can be really scary for some people getting out.
That's interesting. I don't know that I really was aware of that kind of headspace where you kind of, this is your life, and you're kind of told where to go and when to go, and you have, like you said, all those needs taken care of. But Growing Veterans does serve as kind of not just as far as a restorative or a recovery kind of adaptation, but just like in general, figuring out what does life look like.
Yeah. And educational too, like we want to impart knowledge and practical skills on people so that they can take it and use it in their own garden or their own community. Go back to wherever maybe they came and visited from another state, and they are looking to start something very similar to what we're doing so they can provide services like us. We try to help people like that as well, and give them the little bits of knowledge and things that so they can stay ahead of the curve and learn from any mistakes that maybe we have made or others that came before them.
So this Veterans Day, you as a veteran, and then kind of just speaking for your community, what do you want people to know about veterans, or kind of what do you want people to think about this Veterans Day?
Well, I mean, we're just regular people. Most of us, just want to be a regular person and stuff like that, and but we all, not all are, but we're, at least for myself, I'm very proud of my service, and yeah, just remember that the people that came before us, and the people that, sacrificed everything to provide what we've got right here, the safety and freedom that we enjoy.
Awesome. What's in the future for Growing Veterans?
Everything. Without getting in trouble, I'd love to say, bigger and better things all the time. But right now, we're really focused on our community. We're really focused on Whatcom County. We're looking at the possibility of maybe looking at some other land in other areas so we can reach out to other communities. The possibilities are endless. It really just boils down to, can we feasibly make it happen? And if we can, we will. And if we can't, then, we'll put as much energy as we can into where we're at right now.
Broadening your outreach and your impact.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Kind of taking some of the things that you guys have learned and developed here in Whatcom County and possibly making that available to other veterans.
Absolutely. I mean, we get phone calls and correspondence all the time saying, how can we do what you're doing here? And the truth is this is a very unique place. Whatcom County is, it's fantastic. We have a tremendous amount of support, and we would not be as successful at doing what we're doing without the community and everybody around us. We like to say, or at least amongst ourselves, that we are injecting ourselves into the community, into the fabric of the community, and we've been embraced and lifted up by the community. So if people are looking to do what we're doing, or if we ever look to expand in the future, we'll have to get involved with the community. That's where we make or break ourselves, I think.
Excellent. Well, Sean, thank you so much for taking the time to join me today.
My pleasure.
Thanks for listening to Neighbor to Neighbor, a community-driven conversation highlighting individuals and organizations making an impact in our community. Neighbor to Neighbor is produced by WeQ.